Rue Bonaparte is a street in the 6th arrondissement of Paris. It spans the Quai Voltaire, Quai Malaquais to the Jardin du Luxembourg, crossing the Place Saint-Germain-des-Prés and the Place Saint-Sulpice, and has housed many of France's most famous names and institutions as well as other well-known figures from abroad. The street runs through the heart of the fashionable left bank and is characterized by a number of hotels, particularly as an elegant apartment buildings, as well as being bounded by the river at one end and a park at the other, with 15 buildings and monuments classified as Monument Historique. It has more such listed sites than any other street in the 6th arrondissement. Rue Bonaparte also has many literary associations and contains a number of bookshops, antiquarian booksellers, publishers and art galleries. Its architecture and location have made it one of Paris's most historic and sought-after residential addresses. History. The length of the street was formerly the site of a river called the Loire, which at the time formed the eastern boundary of the Paris.It clerks. Later, the river was enlarged into a 27 wide canal and named Petite Seine, which in turn supplied water to the moat of the Abbey of Saint-Germain-des-Prés when its fortifications were built during the 14th century. In the 17th century, those fortifications were demolished along with the moat and the canal. At one time, it was divided into two streets, the Rue du other.With and the Rue des Petits Augustins. Its present form was established by government decree on the 7th of September 1845, which resulted in the opening of the part of the street between the Boulevard Saint-Germain and the Rue du Colombier. Its name was subsequently changed on the 12th of August 1852 to commemorate the Emperor Napoleon I. The name Rue Bonaparte was first proposed during the period of the Consulate. It was formally renamed Saint-Germain-des-Prés under the Bourbon Restoration, and then officially regained the name of Bonaparte a few months after the coup of Louis Napoleon Bonaparte in August 1852. Composition. In its present form it has subsumed the following historic streets: Rue des Petits Augustins between the Quai Malaquais and the Rue Jacob. Rue Saint-Germain-des-Prés opened in 1804 between the Rue Jacob and Saint-Germain-des-Prés. It was named variously the Cour des Religieux, Rue Bonaparte, Rue de la Poste aux Chevaux, and in 1816 Rue Saint-Germain-des-Prés, before finally reassuming its current name, Rue Saint-Germain, between the Place Saint-Germain-des-Prés and the Place Saint-Sulpice, was named in 1847. In 1804, this part of the street, which at times was known as the Old Rue Saint-Germain-des-Prés, ran between the Rue Jacob and the Rue du Colombier. Rue du Saint-Sulpice, between Rue du Colombier and the Rue de Voirod, was named in the 15th century Rue Saint-Sulpice, then Rue L. Henry du Verger, then Rue du Verger. At the beginning of the 17th century, it was renamed Rue du other.With. Some historians suggest that it was also known as Rue des Jardins Saint-Sulpice and Rue des Jesuits. Rue du Luxembourg in 1879 was the name given to the part comprising the Rue de Voirod and the Rue d'Asses. Then in 1918, the name Rue Guimer. Landmarks. The Rue Bonaparte itself contains some of Paris's notable landmarks, including the École des Beaux-Arts, the Académie nationale de médecine, the Place Saint-Germain-des-Prés, the Abbey of Saint-Germain-des-Prés, the Fontaine de la Paix, the Church of Saint-Sulpice, the Saint-Sulpice Fountain, the Promenade de l'Allée du Séminaire. The Jardin du Luxembourg is at its southern tip. Notable addresses. No. 5. Birthplace of the French painter Édouard Manet on the 23rd of January 1832. home of French Field Marshal and Colonial Administrator Le Maréchal Hubert Lyautey from 1911 to 1934. French National Heritage Site. Number 14. The École Nationale Supérieure des Beaux-Arts. French National Heritage Site. Number 16. Académie Nationale de Médecine. French National Heritage Site. No. 18. Site of the first provisional government of Czechoslovakia in 1916. It is marked by a plaque which reads, ICIN 1916 Le gouvernement provisoire Czechoslovaque établit son siège sous la présidence de T.G. Masaryk. Number 19. Home of the French painter Aimé Écoute Julian from 1861 to 1875. French National Heritage Site. No. 20. Home of the American woman of letters, Natalie Barney, from 1909 to 1969. In her literary salon she played hostess to many of the 20th century's most important writers and artists from both sides of the Atlantic, including André Gide, Paul Claudel, Scott and Zelda Fitzgerald, Ezra Pound, James Joyce, T.S. Eliot, Samuel Beckett, and Françoise Sagan. Incorrect. Barney lived nearby at 20 Rue Jacob. It is just around the corner. See Wiki entry on Barney. Number 24. The American novelist Henry Miller stayed at No. 24 between 1928 and 1930, during which time he began his relationship with the American writer Anne Nin. Number 30. The restaurant at No. 30. The Café Paris.It aux Clercs was Ernest Hemingway's favorite haunt in Paris. Number 31. The Salon des Cent was established there in 1894. Number 34. Workshop of the famous painter François Gérard. Home of Romy Schneider in the 70s and of George Wolinski from 1974 to 2008. Number 36. Home of French philosopher and sociologist Auguste Comte between 1817 and 1822, during which time he published his first essays. No. 42. Home of French philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre and Simone de Beauvoir, from 1945 to 1962. During this period Sartre was involved in establishing the Quarterly Literary and Political Review, Les Temps Modernes, as well as publishing some of his best-known works including Les Mains Sales, Les Chemins de la Liberté, The Critique de la Raison Dialectique, and Les Mots, Le Monde dans l'Ami, The Devil and the Good Lord, Le Diable et le Bon Dieu, Les Séquestrés d'Altona. No. 88. Dating from 1680, this hotel was the home of French cardinal, diplomat and man of letters Melchior de Polignac from 1732 until his death in 1742. The mansion was then taken over and partly redesigned in 1790 by the French revolutionary politician and lawyer Maximilien de Robespierre, who lived there until 1791, but then moved to a place of greater safety in the wake of the massacre on the Champ de Mars. From Robespierre's death in 1794 until 1815 it was the residence of French Catholic priests, abolitionist and revolutionary Abbé Grégoire. French National Heritage Site. Number 92. The Hungarian Cultural Institute. Other notable current and former residents of Voltaire, Nancy Cunard, Catherine Deneuve, and Romy Schneider.